We're surrounded by cameras, AI that recognizes faces just about everywhere you go. But what if you could just poof, disappear from their view? Today, we're diving into the real, honest-to-goodness science of becoming invisible to artificial intelligence.
I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a spy movie, doesn't it? You put on a simple accessory, and suddenly you're a ghost in the machine. But we're not talking about some gadget from Q Branch in a Bond film.
And that's the crucial point. This isn't just a clever trick, it's real technology. And it's built on a deep understanding of a fundamental truth. AI just doesn't see the world the way we do.
So what we're talking about here, it actually has a name. Physical adversarial attacks. Think of it as a whole new kind of camouflage, designed not to fool your eyes, but to fool the eye of an algorithm.
And this new camouflage, well, it shows up in some pretty surprising forms. We're talking about eyeglass frames with these bizarre, colorful patterns that look like modern art. Or makeup styles, like CV Dazzle, that seem super avant-garde, but are actually designed to totally break facial detection. You can even find it on everyday clothing with special patches, or hats that project infrared light that we can't see at all, but to an AI, it's completely blind.
And don't make the mistake of thinking this is some fringe concept. No way. A huge study from Carnegie Mellon created these adversarial glasses, and get this, they made a person unrecognizable to commercial AI systems nearly 88% of the time. Just let that sink in for a second. A pair of glasses that can effectively erase you from a security system almost 9 times out of 10. That is wild.
So, okay, why is this such a big deal? Because facial recognition tech isn't some niche product anymore. It is everywhere. Let's just take a look at the massive scale of this thing.
First, let's follow the money. Back in 2022, the global market for this stuff was already worth almost $8 billion. That's a huge and fast-growing industry building and putting these systems everywhere.
And all that money translates directly into use every single day. Over 1.2 billion facial recognition scans happen. That's more than 10 scans for every single person in the US every 24 hours, from unlocking your phone to major security checks.
And this isn't just in a few tech-savvy countries either. We're talking at least 127 nations have rolled out these systems for surveillance. So you've got a multi-billion-dollar industry running over 1 billion scans a day across most of the planet. The whole all-seeing eye thing, it's not fiction anymore. It's our global reality.
Okay, so we know it's possible to fool these incredibly powerful systems, but how? How does it actually work? Let's get into the nitty-gritty, the science behind this digital deception.
Right. The core idea here is something called an adversarial image. You can think of it like a visual Trojan horse. It's an image that's been tweaked really strategically with tiny little changes we often can't even see, that are specifically designed to exploit an AI's blind spots and make it mess up. So why are these super powerful AIs so vulnerable? Well, it pretty much boils down to a few key weaknesses. First, images are just packed with data, millions of pixels. This gives attackers a huge canvas to hide tiny, tiny errors. Second, AI models often learn in a pretty simple, almost linear way, which makes them easy to exploit. But the big one? They're only as smart as the data they were trained on. So the moment they see a bizarre pattern they've never seen before, like on those adversarial glasses, their whole system can just fall apart.
Making one of these images is a really methodical process. First, attackers get some level of access to the AI they're targeting. Then, they basically ask the AI's brain, hey, which pixels here matter the most to you? They use the AI's own logic against itself to find those sweet spots. From there, they just apply these tiny calculated changes. They're called perturbations. And then they test it. And they just repeat that process until the AI is consistently and confidently getting it wrong.
Now, there are 2 main ways to pull these attacks off. You've got digital attacks, where you're changing the image file itself. These are super precise, very successful. But the physical attacks, now those are the really wild ones. Using actual, real-world objects to fool a live camera. It's much harder to do, but it's still shockingly effective.
So naturally, this has kicked off a full-blown digital arms race. For every new attack that pops up, researchers and companies are rushing to build a new defense. It's this constant game of cat and mouse.
And you know what? The defenses can be really, really good. Just look at this. An undefended system is basically a sitting duck. Attacks work over 90% of the time. But the second you start building in defenses, like teaching the AI what these attacks look like, that success rate just plummets. Then you add algorithms that actively hunt for attacks, and it becomes almost impossible to fool. The game completely changes.
So how do you actually defend an AI? Well, you need a layered strategy. You can inoculate the model by feeding it thousands of attack examples so it knows what to watch out for. You can build special filters to spot and block these manipulated images. You can even add physical hardware, like depth sensors, to catch spoofs. And, when all else fails, you can fall back on the gold standard, making someone use a second key, something more than just their face.
So after all this tech talk, what does it really mean for us, for you and me? And why are we so much better at this than the very machines we've built?
The answer, and this is truly fascinating, lies in a huge difference in how we perceive reality. When your friend gets a new haircut or puts on glasses, you still see them, right? Your brain processes their face as a whole. It understands context. And AI doesn't do that. It just sees a bunch of mathematical features, the distance between the eyes, the curve of a nose, that kind of thing. It's not really seeing a face, it's just matching a data pattern. And that's what makes it so brittle, so easily confused by tiny, targeted changes that our brains instinctively just ignore.
And this brings us right to the heart of the dilemma with this technology. It is a true double-edged sword. In the wrong hands, yeah, it can be used to impersonate someone and break into secure systems. But in the right hands, it becomes this incredibly powerful tool for regular people to take back their privacy from an ever-watchful digital world.
So, what can you do about all this? The single most important takeaway for you is this. Wherever you possibly can, use multi-factor authentication. Your face should not be your only key. It's convenient, sure, but as we've just seen, it is not foolproof.
And your second best practice, keep your software updated. Seriously, companies are in that arms race we talked about, and they're constantly pushing out patches to defend against the latest attacks. Installing those updates is your #1 line of defense.
And this all leaves us with one final and really crucial question. We're handing over so much responsibility to AI systems, in security, in finance, everywhere. But if their very perception of reality can be manipulated by something as simple as a pair of glasses, can we ever truly trust them with the things that matter most?